Have you just found out that you are pregnant in Germany and you don't know what to do? I can feel you. When I first found out that I was pregnant and it was not planned, I didn't know what to do and I was panicked. So now, 5 years later, I have 2 kids and they were both born in Germany. I'm making this video now so that I can tell you what to do next after you found that you are pregnant in Germany. So now let's get into it. So you have done a pregnancy test and it is positive. And so you are testing it again and again and again and it's still positive. Congratulations! I remember that the first time when I saw that my test was positive, I couldn't believe it. I bought immediately 2 more tests and then I tested again and again. And so it is all a normal process. The first thing you should do is to go to a gynecologist. A gynecologist is called a Frauenarzt, which means a woman's doctor in Germany. So you will go there, you need to book a regular checkup there until the end of your 2nd trimester. You will have to go there every month, and after that you will have to go every 2 weeks. If you pass your due date and you still have not given birth yet, then you will have to go there every other day. When you are at the gynecologist, they will do different tests on you. For example, they will do blood tests, they look at your iron level, they will check your urine, and they also need to check your blood pressure and so on. It's also very common to have an ultrasound scan in Germany, and you can see your baby inside. You can even get pictures of it. At your gynecologist, you will get a small booklet. It is called a Mutterpass. It means a mother's passport. In this passport, they will document all your medical results and everything about your health and your baby's health is in there. So it is very important to bring it with you every visit to your gynecologist. And actually, I recommend bringing your Mutterpass with you all the time, especially if you're traveling or if you're on vacation, because in case there are any emergencies, the doctor can look at the passport and then they will find out all the critical information they need to treat you or your baby. The second thing you need to do is to inform your health insurance and your employer about your pregnancy. If you have a public health insurance, most of the costs relating to your pregnancy and childbirth will be covered by your health insurance. If you have a private health insurance, you will have to check with them what costs they are covering. You will also need to tell your employer that you are pregnant. So you will need to give them the expected delivery date. Based on this date, they will calculate when you can start to go on your maternity leave. This is normally 6 weeks before your expected due date. You will also need to tell your employer how long you want to be in parental leave. You can go to parental leave for up to 3 years after birth. But don't worry if you are not so sure yet how long you want to be in parental leave. You can still discuss with your employer in the future to shorten it or extend it later. The next thing to do is to find a midwife in Germany. The midwife is different than your gynecologist. Your gynecologist will do all the medical checkup with you at the clinic, and your midwife will visit you at your home during and after your pregnancy. They will give you advice about childbirth, breastfeeding, pregnancy, and how to take care of your newborn, postnatal care, and so on and so on. I find it really helpful to have a midwife. For example, my midwife visited me many times at home when I was pregnant, and she told me everything I needed to know about childbirth. And after my baby was born, she visited me every day in the first 10 days. And so she checked on me to see if everything was okay with me. She also taught me many things about how I should take care of my newborn, how to bath my kid, and so on. Even after the first 10 days after birth, she still visited me from time to time, and I could ask her any question I had. One thing to know is that your midwife may not be the one who helped you during your actual birth. If you decide to have a birth at the hospital, you need to ask your midwife if she is authorized to work in that hospital. Otherwise, your hospital would assign another midwife for you during the actual birth. For me, I didn't have the same midwife when I had my birth in the hospital, but that was fine with me. the midwife I had in the hospital was also very good. If you live in a big city, you should try to find your midwife as soon as possible because sometimes it can be difficult to find one. So you may even find a midwife who can speak English. For example, my first midwife spoke English with me, which was perfect because I didn't speak so much German back then. The best would be to ask your local friends or your gynecologist to see if they can recommend you any midwife. Or you can also search for a midwife online in the internet. I have included the website in my video description below. The next thing you need to do is to register to a birth preparation class. These kind of classes are normally organized in the hospital or at Red Cross. You can find a class by looking at the website of the hospital. Sometimes it may be possible for you to ask your midwife to give you a private birth preparation class at home. For example, during my first pregnancy, my midwife gave me a private class at home, and it was perfect for me because it was in English and my husband was there as well, and we learned a lot at home. The cost was also covered by my health insurance. If you have a public health insurance, your insurance normally would cover the cost of your birth preparation class, and sometimes they will allow you to bring your partner to do the class with you together. I would highly recommend that because then your partner would also know what to do when you are giving birth. Normally, your partner will have to pay something because your insurance will only cover your cost. During this class, you will learn about the birth process, you will learn how to breathe when you are giving birth, and everything related to childbirth and pregnancy. You will also get to know other expecting parents, and it is great because then you already know someone who are going through the same journey with you, and you have someone to hang out with after you have your baby later. You should register for the class early in advance so that you get a spot, but it should be after your 26th week of pregnancy, because if you are doing the class too early in advance, you may forget the things you learn. So it makes sense to join it not too early before your expected due date. If you are interested, you should also look at what other classes the hospital is offering. Sometimes they also have other classes such as yoga class, and sometimes your health insurance will pay fully or partially on these kind of classes. The next thing you need to think about is where you want to give birth. Yes, in Germany you can choose where to give birth. You can give birth in a hospital or in a birth house or even at home. Giving birth in the hospital is the most common way to give birth in Germany. In hospital, you have the doctor and medical equipment in case of any emergencies. You can also have epidural pain relief if you give birth in the hospital. There are normally other birth assistants in the hospital as well. For example, a birthing ball or a bath tube if you want to have water birth. Hospital birth is suitable for women who have a risk of complication or those who feel safer because there are doctors and medical equipment on the spot. Another option is to give birth in a birth house. A birth house is called Geburtshaus in German. It is a very cozy, home-like environment so that you can feel like you are giving birth at home even though it's not your home. They are all run by midwife and there are no emergency surveys on the spot. The third option is to give birth at your home. In that case, you will need to find a midwife who specializes at home birth. Both the birth house and home birth is suitable for women who don't have any medical complication, and if they want to have a relaxing environment when they are giving birth. There is a very limited choice of pain relief if you choose to give birth this way, and it is good for women who want to have a natural birth. In case of any medical emergency, your midwife will send you to the hospital immediately. If you want to give birth in a hospital, the next thing you should do is to register at the hospital. Usually, there are information sessions in the evening at the hospital if you want to give birth there. So you can register for this information session. During this session, you have a chance to ask any question you may have, and you can also get a tour in the hospitals to see the facilities they have. For example, if you plan for a water birth, you can see what kind of water pool they have for water birth in the hospital. Not all the hospital has a full pediatric clinic on the spot. So in case your baby is born premature or need any special medical treatment, he will be transferred to a pediatric clinic after birth. Once you have decided on which hospital you want to give birth, you will have to register at the hospital. This is so that all the paperwork will be done and you can focus on giving birth when you go to the hospital later. In my case, I didn't have any medical complication and I chose to give birth in a small hospital in Germany. And the good thing about giving birth in a small hospital is that the staff there can be very personal, because in my hospital, for example, they only have 2 to 3 births per day. So the people there have more time to take care of me, and I can ask more questions, and I feel very good. The people are really personal. I have heard that if you give birth in a bigger hospital, it can be more like a production process because the people there don't have so much time, and that's why I prefer to be in a small hospital. Another benefit to stay in a small hospital is that you have a better chance to get a family room. A family room means that you can have your private room together with your partner. Yes, you can stay together with your partner overnight. For me, I stayed a few nights together with my husband after birth. That was really great because my husband could help me at that time in the middle of the night when the baby was crying and didn't know what to do, and I had pain and everything, and my husband was just there next to me. I highly recommend you to book a family room if it's available, especially if it is your first birth. So for my second birth, I don't need my husband anymore. I can take care of everything myself. So these are the 6 things that you need to do after you find out you are pregnant in Germany. Have you done any of these already? How do you feel when you are pregnant in Germany? If you have any question, just write in the comment section below. I hope now you learn more about what you should do when you are pregnant in Germany. If you like my video, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Have a great day. Cheers!